So the practice today is going to be all about cultivating an ability to tolerate more sensation, to welcome more abundance, more pleasure into our lives with less guilt, right? Opening ourselves up to create the space and the willingness to feel life and to derive pleasure from existing, from being alive. Come into a seated position if you're not already there, just a comfortable seat. If it's not okay for you to be flat on the ground, if it hurts your knees or your hips at all, go ahead and bring yourself onto a block or a pillow. Lengthen the spine. Slightly tuck the chin. Let the eyes close if that feels okay for you. And take a deep breath in through the nose. As deep as you can imagine. And exhale. 2 more times just like that. Full deep breath. Expand the torso in every direction. Front to back, side to side, top to bottom. Fullness of your breath. Open the mouth. Release tension. Again. Allow the breath to take its natural shape and pattern. Attune yourself to this moment. Bring all the parts of you that maybe are hooked into other times, times past, times future, to right now. Sense your body. Sense the edges of your physical form. Sense the bones and the muscles. The beat of the heart. Perhaps you can feel a subtle pulsation of energy moving through you. Begin to stretch your awareness of the sensory input of your life out. And so notice what you taste, what you hear, what you smell. Sense yourself in time and space. If hands are not resting on the knees, palms face down, allow that to happen now. As you stay in the space of sensory awareness, inhale, reach the heart forward. Shoulders back and down. Exhale, round the spine. Again, inhale, reach heart up. Maybe the head begins to move back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, spine arches, starting from the low back. Feel extension in the sacrum, the low part of the back. Exhale, round, chin to chest, shoulder blades move away from one another. Come up to center with your next breath in and begin to make circles. So reach the ribs toward the right and then forward, toward the left and then back. Allow for some fluidity here. So once you feel the motion, move with the breath. As you inhale, move forward, and as you exhale, move to the side and back. Okay? Feel a sort of liquid energy in the pelvis, beginning to attune, switch sides to the energy of water, of fluidity. Move with the breath. And if there's any imbalance in the breath, allow it to be on the exhale. A couple more turns. Maybe you feel more balanced. Maybe it makes sense to go half in one direction and then the other. Search within yourself. And feel a little bit of warmth, swirling energy beginning just below the belly button. Come to the center, help yourself forward into child's pose. And you can have your hands behind you or in front of you. Find the child's pose that works well for you, but let the hips have as much space between them as is possible today. Perfect. Reach the tailbone back. As you exhale, allow the hips to feel heavier. Great job. Take one more breath here, please. Reach the arms overhead with the next inhalation, palms flat on the earth. Stretch the spine back as you exhale. And then with the next breath in, come into a tabletop position. Line the ankles up with the knees. Press all 10 toes flat on the earth. Spread the fingers wide. Inhale, look up, belly falls, heart moves forward. What happens with the head is less of concern to me. Exhale, round the spine. Chin moves toward chest here. Again, inhale, look up, belly falls. Attention mainly to the tilt of the pelvis. So initiate the movement by drawing the tailbone in and down and allow the rest to follow. Inhale, tailbone reaches up, belly falls. Exhale, tailbone curls down, belly rises. One more like that. And so the gaze is up, but the head is not back when you're looking up. Come back to neutral. Feel the lower belly pull in towards the spine with the exhale. Soften that a little bit with the inhalation and work it back towards the spine with the exhalation. Continue that way. And start to make circles with the hips. And so these can be little circles or they can be really big circles, right? So maybe you're coming all the way back down to the heels and then to the side. Or maybe they're much smaller circles. If this is hard on the knees, smaller circles are better. Maybe you're just kind of up on your knees and rotating the hips. If being on your knees at all doesn't work for you, you can come back to seated and move in that direction. Same, tilting, circles. Switch sides if you've been going only in one direction and make them as large or small as they need to be. Eyes closed is really, really, really helpful here. I want you to find the groove and the pattern that feels good to you. So about 4 breaths remaining here. And so if your body is inviting you to stay in one spot for a little bit longer, please, please listen and do so. And then find yourself into a neutral position, tabletop. Tuck toes with the inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. stay in your downward facing dog. Plant the palms firmly on the earth. Reach the shoulders away from the ears. Hips up and back. Consider making a slight tilt in the pelvis as you bend the knees and come up onto the tiptoes with the inhale. And then exhale, reverse that process, heels down. Now, again, if downward facing dog is not feeling good for you, being in a slight forward fold or a variation of that is totally fine. I want you to feel the extension from the sacrum toward the shoulders and from the hips down to the earth. Perfect. 2 more breaths. Last one. Look towards the top of the mat as you inhale. Find the top of the mat with the exhale. Bend the knees a lot, enough so that the belly rests. Relax the head down. Let the head fall from side to side. Maybe a circle or 2 with the shoulders. You're shaking no and yes with the head. And if you wish to straighten the legs, do so only as much as you can while letting the belly stay in contact with the thighs. Shift weight forward to create more space in the low back. On the next inhale, bend the knees, reach the tailbone back a lot, make a flat back inhale. Exhale, hands to hips or reach straight up, standing. Stretch, stretch, stretch the fingertips, and then bring hands to heart center or heart and belly. Let the gaze soften or the eyes close. And take this moment to set an intention for your practice. It can be any intention you choose. And take care to phrase it in the affirmative, to be clear. And allow it to be a method of travel versus a destination. And I'll offer for all of us today that we can allow ourselves to receive life as the gift that it is. That we can allow ourselves to derive pleasure from being in a body. That we might allow ourselves to desire, to receive, and without guilt. That we might feel safe and clear about who we are and the value that is inherent in simply being. We begin with 1 chant of Om. Inhale. Inhale, hands reach. Exhale, fold forward. Consider bending the knees and reaching the tailbone back first. Flat back, full breath in. Exhale, left leg steps back. Come down onto the knee. Inhale, hands rise, shoulders away from ears. Exhale, hands to the earth. Step the right leg back, lower down, all the way or halfway. Inhale, heart rises, strong legs, whether they're down on the earth or not. Downward facing dog, exhale. Initiate the movement from cobra or upward facing dog into downward facing dog by drawing the belly towards the spine. Take 1 more breath here. Moving dynamically by lifting the toes if you wish to. Look towards the top of the mat. Inhale, left foot between the hands. Exhale, right knee drops. Inhale, both hands rise. Exhale, hands to the earth. Right foot steps forward. Fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Go back if that serves. Exhale, hands to heart center or heart and belly. I invite you to consider now, if you're interested in moving into a self-inquiry around your relationship with pleasure, with abundance. What boundaries do you have? And let it be just as open as that. What are your boundaries? What arises for you when you hear that question? No wrong, no right. Feel the sensations in the body. Hands up, inhale. Fold forward, exhale. Flat back, breathe in. Step back or jump back as you breathe out. High to low plank. Or all the way down. Lift the heart up, shoulders away from ears. Inhale. Lower belly to spine initiates the movement, downward facing dog with the exhale. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Two more. Moving dynamically if that serves you. Last time. Out through the nose if possible. Look towards the top of the mat with the breath in. Find your way there with the breath out. Fold. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, hands to hips. Stay there. Lengthen the spine from the sacrum forward. Inhale. Rise to standing. Exhale. Arms can be alongside the body. Together or heart and belly. I invite you to come back to that inquiry around boundaries. And consider for a moment how you are placing boundaries on your experience of joy. And what I mean by that is, I'll be happy when, right? Or I would be happy except. I could enjoy that if. I'll be pleased with myself when. I'll say yes if. When. Yeah. The category is unimportant. Simply notice the places in your life where you're limiting your access to pleasure, to abundance, without judgment. Hands up, inhale. Fold forward, breathe out. Flat back, inhale deeply. Exhale, find your way to the bottom of a plank or all the way on the earth. You can jump back, step back. Lift the heart, full breath in. Downward facing dog. All the way out. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. The last one. Reach the right leg up towards the sky. Look under the left armpit. Keep the leg straight for one more breath and then bend the knee. Keep shoulders in line. That likely means moving the right shoulder down. Breathe into the right hip, the right side body. Deep enough inhales that you can feel expansion in the belly. Reach the leg up with the next breath in, float it down, breath out. Left leg up, inhale. Gaze under the right armpit, reach through the left heel, bend the knee. Again, using the breath to expand the torso in such a way that you can feel space being created in the left hip. Last full cycle of breath here. And then inhale, left leg up. Exhale, float it down. Look towards the top of the mat. Reach the right foot forward with the inhale. Reach through the left heel as you exhale. On the next breath in, hands towards the sky. Allow the breath to be calm and continuous. So sometimes we work the breath in such a way that we're lengthening the inhalation and exhalation. What I wish for you to experience is a continuous flow as much as is possible. Begin to attune yourself to where you stop and halt, and see if you can allow the breath to be fluid and continuous. Reaching through the left heel, left hip forward, right hip back. Fingertips stretch with the breath in. With the breath out, open arms and look towards the right. 2 more times like that. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, twist and open. Last time, reach up. Exhale, open. Stay there. So you can look towards the right hand behind, or you can look forward. Make a choice. Make the choice that feels good to you. 1 more breath. And then come to center. Breathe in, look up, reach up if it feels good. Breathe out, hands to the earth, step back, downward facing dog. If you wish to take a vinyasa, you're welcome to do so. Feel the hands planted firmly on the earth. Feel the feet pressed onto the earth. Stretch the shoulders away from the ears. Make the spine long. Feel the full extension of the body in your downward facing dog. On the next inhale, step the left foot forward. Stand the ball of the right foot. Strong right leg. Rooting down with the exhale, and then inhale, take the hands up, opposite side. Notice if your jaw is flexed or if your tongue is pressing to the roof of the mouth. If that's the case, see if you can relax that down. It's not necessary to smile, but see if you can reduce some of the holding pattern. On the next exhale, begin that dynamic twist. So you turn right hand in front, left hand behind. Inhale, come up. Exhale. Last time, inhale up. Exhale. Stay there. Again, you can look towards the left hand behind, right hand forward. Breathe. 2 more. And then take both hands up towards the sky. Breathe in. Hands to the earth. Breathe out. Either step back to downward facing dog or take a vinyasa. Downward facing dog is where you will end up. Feel the sensations, right? it can be very, very tempting to think about feeling. And so what I'm asking you to try on is being in the sensation. What do the legs feel like? What do your hands feel like? What is the temperature in the room? All of those things. 2 more breaths, please. And are there any of those that you feel less willing to engage with? On the next exhale, bend the knees and have a seat either on your heels or on a block with knees bent. We're going to take a mudra called Kaspana Mudra. And what you're going to do is just interlace the fingers and keep the thumbs out. Right? Perfect. Take this to the lower abdomen, right below the belly button. Right? Take a full deep breath in. Exhale, visualize any spent energy, any sort of energy you no longer need, pouring out, flowing away from you. Layer onto that an energy of openness to renewal. Eyes closed, if that feels safe for you. 4 more breaths, continuous, full. Inhale deeply. Exhale, letting go of energy that's no longer in service. Making space for abundance and renewal. Two more. And then find your way onto your back. Knees fairly wide, almost as wide as the mat itself. Back flat on the earth. Arms alongside the body. And what we're practicing now is pelvic tilts. And so it's going to be this action, right? Tilting the pelvis down and then up. Down and then up. Okay. So as you inhale, take the tailbone down into the earth, feel the lower belly rise. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone, feel a little bit of scoop in the low belly. Perfect. Perfect. Inhale. Yep, perfect. Good job. So keep the back down, a little bit less of a movement, right? It's just a subtle tilt. Yeah. So you're not actually lifting the spine off of the ground. You're just tilting the pelvis back and forth. And as you tilt the pelvis back and forth, keeping as much of the spine in contact with the earth as you can, sense the energy in the low belly. Find some fluidity there. Just a few more breaths. The purpose of these movements is to just allow for stagnant energy, excessive rigidity, to be cleansed. And make space for more ease, pleasure, and abundance. 3 more breaths. Take care to leave the hips on the earth and simply tilt the pelvis. Better, perfect. And then release that practice. Take a breath of just awareness. Spread the feet a little bit wider so they're at least as wide as the mat.
And let the knees fall from side to side. So again, you're not picking the hips up, you're just letting the knees fall from side to side. Sway. Keep as much of the spine on the earth as is possible, probably from about mid-back down to the sacrum. And there's going to be some lift, and that's okay. Move at the pace that feels good to you because it feels good to you. And allow the breath to be continuous and full. And keep going there.
Perfect. Perfect.
And on your next inhale, bring the knees in towards center. Exhale, hug them in toward the body. Perfect. Inhale, hold on to the knees. Reach the knees away from you. Keep the whole spine on the earth. So you're creating a little bit of tension between the arms, but the spine is completely connected to the earth, right? And we're making circles with the knees. They're not circles that are so big that the tailbone's lifting, right? This is a massage in the sacrum area, so it should feel fluid, flowy, moving continuously. Great. If you're going in one direction, switch directions, please. Considering as you move through these shapes, and you breathe into this area of the body, where you have opportunities to welcome more abundance, more pleasure. Come to center, reach the legs up towards the sky. Exhale, allow them to open. Do your best to keep them parallel to the body as much as you can. And we move from side to side. It can be useful here to place the hands on the earth, palms face down. You take a full breath in, and then with the exhale, go all the way to one side. Inhale, come up, and to the other side. I'm just moving and flowing. You don't need to come all the way down, right? Work within your comfortable range of motion, so you may be just kind of rocking side to side. Again, this is not about taking the body off of the earth. Obviously, when you come all the way into the twist, the low back will come up. But focus, keep going. I'm just going to take a peek. Focus on creating that fluid motion, the energy of a wave, rolling breath, softening rigidity, welcoming fluidity. A couple more breaths there. And then come to center. Hug the knees. Hug yourself in this moment with the energy of worthiness, the energy, the love, the sort of care and celebration that you would give to a being that you cared deeply for, that you wanted to be happy, to feel joy. Give yourself that energy. Don't save it. Not right now, anyway. When you're ready to, you can either help yourself onto your side and then to a seated position, or you can rock a few times back and forth into a seated position. Neither one's better than the other. Just choose the one that feels better for your body. And we meet. Seated. Feet out far, right? I don't want them hugging super close to you. I want them out far.
And just take your hands to your knees and again, kind of toggle back and forth, side to side. Okay? Just go ahead and breathe. And when you find some stillness there, when you find a spot that feels balanced, just allow for the feet to press toward one another, and as that happens, feel the inner thighs roll up towards the sky and the knees fall open with a little less effort. There's a quote, I think it's Henry David Thoreau. The essence of it is that you, yourself, are just as deserving of love and understanding and pleasure as any other entity in the entire universe. And so I invite you to consider that nurturing and caring for yourself is an act of love for others as well. Because if you do not nurture and love yourself, if you deny yourself pleasure and comfort, then that doesn't mean you don't need it. It means that you are making others responsible for providing it. Take one more breath here. Feel yourself rooted into the earth, sensing the energy of water, abundance, fertility. Allow the sensation of openness in the hips to come with you as you either bring the knees together a little bit, or if it's possible for you, leave them nice and wide as you lower yourself back onto the earth. Hug the knees toward you wide. Okay? So the feet are no longer together. The knees are nice and wide. On your next breath, think about bringing the feet so that they're reaching towards the sky, knees towards the earth. Happy baby. Again here, if the pelvis is reaching up off of the earth, right? If the tailbone is up off of the earth, I want you to come out of it enough so that the sacrum rests onto the earth. Consider, even here, making a small pelvic tilt. You stay exactly where you are. I'm gonna just take a peek. Perfect. So again, if the low back is up, reach the sacrum down towards the earth. And take 2 more breaths there, please. And you may find that it feels nice to rock side to side. I love that this is called Happy Baby and babies actually do this. So if you want to put your feet in your mouth, don't do that. But perhaps connect to the naturalness of rolling around on your back. Take pleasure in it. Come to center. Relax the left foot down to the earth. Both feet really, but the left foot's going to stay there. The right ankle crosses over the left knee. You can stay right there. That's totally fine if you're feeling sensation in the right hip. Okay? If you are seeking to feel more sensation in the right hip and it feels safe for your knee, pick the left foot up off the ground and hold on to the left leg, either at the hamstring or at the shin. The entirety of the spine should be resting on the earth. You can use the right elbow to help gently guide the right knee away from the body. Soften the breath. Stay with the soft breath. Stay right there. And breathe. Do your best to stay with that continuous breath. Last one. And then switch sides. So release your foot down to the earth. Cross the left ankle. Perfect. And then choose.
Do you want to keep the right foot on the floor? Do you want to hug it in toward the body? Again, if either of these is longer, let it be the exhale, but do your best to allow the breath to come and go in a fluid motion. Great job. So if you're in that space of inquiry, now is a brilliant time to begin to consider the ways in which perhaps you've developed patterns of behavior that make other people or things responsible for your sense of pleasure or qualifiers for your ability to be happy. Not so that you can feel guilty or shameful about it, but so that you have the information that you need to make a different choice if that might serve you. Last breath. Perfect. Gently unwind. Bring both feet to the earth once more and hug yourself if it feels good. Right? If it feels good. If having the feet on the ground feels better, do that. And take just a couple of breaths of transition here. And then, once more, you can either come to the side and then find your way to seated, or you can rock. This time, if you want to rock, consider rocking with your knees wider. Right? So you could hold on to the knees and rock back and forth with wider legs. Yeah, perfect. It's kind of fun. We meet in a seated position. This time, bring the feet a little bit closer toward the torso. Thumbs to the insteps of the feet, fingers toward the pinky toe side. Open the feet up like a book, reach the heart towards the sky. Soften the breath. Full inhale, and with your exhale, reach your heart forward. When you begin to round the spine, stop. Stay right there. Inhale deeply, reach the heart forward. Exhale, from the low back forward. Lean more into it. If you get to the point where you need a little bit of support, bring the hands in front of you, tented fingers. Okay? Perfect. Feel the sensation of the feet pressing toward one another and the knees opening a little bit wider. Breathe into the low belly. Last full cycle of breath here. And then inhale, rise up. Open the legs out wide. Press the heels down into the earth. As you press the heels down into the earth, feel the feet wanting to move toward the hips. Slight engagement is happening. Little bend in the knees. Feel the hamstrings fire somewhat, yeah? And then reach the heart forward once more. As you exhale, fold any amount. So folding forward this amount is effective if it gives you sensation. Having your head all the way down to the earth does not mean that you're doing better. Find the sensation. Embrace the sensation. Take pleasure in the fact that you have a body that lets you feel being alive. So find that spot where there's some sense of pleasure, even if it's a little, I don't know, right? Don't push it past that point. Breathe. Last two.
rise up from wherever you happen to have found yourself. Bring the feet towards one another. Come into either hero pose or kneeling. Not easy seated, not right this second. Just take a moment to let the hips neutralize. Come back to inquiry. What would have to happen in order for you to feel like you had to do less in order to deserve happiness? What ideas about yourself or the world need to perhaps be modified for you to feel more ready for joy, for receptivity, more worthy of desiring or receiving what it is you desire, less guilty about wanting. Hands to the earth with the exhale, tuck toes with the inhale, downward facing dog with the exhale. Full breath in, breathe all the way out. Inhale, right foot outside of the right hand. Now, if this doesn't feel okay for you, what I want you to do is come into just a downward facing dog, and I'll come back to you. For those that this feels okay to, drop the left knee down. Consider turning the right big toe towards 2 o'clock. Consider allowing the right knee to open up. At that point, if it feels good in your body, you can either come down to the forearms or turn the left forearm parallel to the earth, to the front of the mat, and take the right hand towards the right knee and twist. Those of you who would prefer to take a different posture because your knees are not feeling that today, what I'd like for you to do is come down onto your seat. Take the foot in towards the inner thigh and let the knee fall out towards the side any amount. You can twist slightly by turning your torso and reaching your right hand towards the outside of the left foot, or staying up and having it on the right side of the thigh. Those of you that are forward facing, take just a couple more breaths there, please. If you're all the way in there, your forearms are on the ground, your knee is open wide, and you're in a twist, and that feels okay in the body, you can consider coming up onto the hands, bend the left knee, and reach for the left foot with the right hand. Pull the left heel toward the body and look up. Breathe into the low belly. Those of you that are seated with the right knee bent, now is the time to switch that. Those of you that are forward facing in lizard, go ahead and unwind. Find your way into downward facing dog. Take vinyasas if you wish for them. Perfect. Breathe deeply. Feel the hands and the feet planted on the earth. Step the left foot forward. Those of you that switched sides, you're seated with the left foot or the left knee bent. I want you to take just a few more breaths there. Forward facing folks, take the left toe towards 10 o'clock. Think about opening the knee up after the right knee's down. instep of the foot can come up off the earth. You can take the left hand to the inside of the left leg, or you can come onto the forearms. Again, one's not better than the other. Find where the sensation is for you. Stay there, continue to explore into it. Forward-facing folks that have the left foot inside of the thigh, and go ahead and come out of that posture, bend the knees, take the hands behind, and lift the hips up any amount. You can dynamically do that, up and down, or you can stay up for a few breaths. When you feel complete with that, those of you that are coming up and down, you'll either take a seated posture or child's pose, your choice. Folks in lizard lunge, again, if you would like to bend the right knee and reach back for the right foot, pull the right foot toward the body and rotate. Now is the time to do that. Take a couple of breaths there before finding your way into downward facing dog. You can step back into downward facing dog, or you can take a vinyasa. Either way is fine. Beautiful. Take a breath or two in downward facing dog when you arrive there before lowering yourself into child's pose. This can be either version of child's pose that you like, so the hands can be stretched out overhead, or they can be alongside the body. Allow it to be the one that feels most nurturing to you. And so as we're born, experiencing the world at the level of sensation, taking pleasure in being alive comes natural to us. We learn not to do that. We learn that it's not okay to feel certain ways or to explore in this way or that way, that we should feel bad about wanting, desiring. We should limit what it is that we have, what it is that we are open to. Consider whether that's true. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, lower yourself down onto the earth. Belly down. Inhale, heart rises. Exhale, fold. Or lower. Inhale, heart rises. And exhale down. So you can stay with this sort of back and forth. Just like that. If it feels good in your body, think about bending the knees and reaching the head towards the heels. You're really curving the whole of the body up. This is not about making the arms straight, right? So flow through in the way that feels good to you. This is one of the last asana, one of the last shapes that we're going to make in the active part of our practice. And so as we move through this, the invitation, should you choose to accept it, is to begin to offer up an energy of gratitude for even the darkness. An energy of gratitude for even the things that feel as though they're standing in your way. A gratitude that is born out of an awareness that you have the ability to make choices. That it is okay for you to want, and it is okay for you to have. It is okay for you to enjoy being alive. You don't need to wait for anyone to tell you how to do it, or for permission. Stay with your breath a few more times. Notice if you feel a heating up sensation in the low belly, in the low back. When you feel the organic completion of that series of movements, allow yourself to come to rest on the belly. Find your favorite cheek. Breathe into the low belly. You are abundant. You have a right to feel good. And there's nothing external to you that is required to access that joy. Those that have told you otherwise, that have not seen you, that have not heard you, that have not felt you, did so out of their own fear and guilt. And so you lose nothing by making a new choice. If that feels really, really good to you, you can stay there. Otherwise, roll over onto your back. You can just slip right over onto your back. Perfect. Tighten the muscles of the body with the inhale, like a lot. Become as rigid as you know how to become with the inhalation. And with the exhale, intentionally, purposefully soften that. Couple more breaths that way. Feel yourself becoming heavy. Relaxed and still. Attune yourself to the flow of breath. Either soften your body into this moment and commit yourself to the pull of the earth beneath you. Or maybe begin to visualize that your mat is a raft. peaceful, calm body of water. And you're completely safe, just the right temperature. And you can feel the subtle shifts and movements of the water beneath you. Slowly rocking you, soothing you. Gently guiding you in the waves of motion toward a place of deep peace and serenity. Allow yourself to be carried there. As you ride these gentle waves beneath you, begin to become aware that this water, this energy of fluid motion on which you are riding, is the energy of life. You sense that the up and down motion perfectly mirrors the up and down moments of life. From time to time, the water feels slightly more turbulent, but it smooths. And that turbulence, when it comes, is mostly on the surface. Become aware that below the waves, below the ripples, there's a current. Flowing easily and gracefully through everything. The current that's truly guiding you to that place of peace and serenity, of abundance and joy. Is much deeper and unperturbed by the fluctuations of life. Feel deeply connected. Breathe into the space, into the feeling, the awareness. That your desire to embrace life fully is not wrong. And that you have a right to give and to receive pleasure. Stay connected to this energy. you gently begin to deepen the breath. Leave the eyes closed. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. Reach the arms overhead. Take a deep stretch. Full body on. Before finding your way onto the right side of the body. Don't be in a rush to transition. Savor. Choose. Bring yourself to an upright posture, comfortably seated. Interlace the fingers with the right thumb resting between the left thumb and index finger. This is Ushas Mudra. Holds the hands and the fingers together with intention but not force. Allow the heels of the palms to move toward the low belly, your center, manifesting, receiving abundance, grace, protection of your joy, of receiving, of giving. Allow yourself to call in the energy of welcoming, of nurturing, receptivity. Feel yourself build with pleasure and enthusiasm for life. And if there's any additional intention or shift in intention you wish to offer, now is the time to do so. And I continue the intention that we allow ourselves to be a vessel for the fullness of existence, that we might take pleasure, and in doing so, offer it back. We'll send our intentions out with 9 chants, the seed sound of this energy center, which is Vam. As you make the chant, let it take the entirety of the exhale and center the energy as if you could sort of send it into the hands resting just below the belly button. Let it permeate the entirety of the hips, the sacral area, the low back. Inhale to begin. Vam. Vam. Continue. Pull the lower belly in towards the spine at the end. Vam. 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 Last 2. Vam. Vam. Allow that energy to rest. Inhale, hands toward the sky, in a gesture of receptivity to all that is divine. Palms together or pulled down through the crown, meeting at heart center. Inhale, open hands wide, gesture of receptivity to all that is human. Palms come together at heart center, the meeting place between the earthly and heavenly realms. Sternum moves towards thumbs. We close our practice, one chant of Om. Inhale to begin. And the love, the light, and the truth within me recognizes, honors, and bows with deep, deep gratitude and humility to that same divine love, light, and truth within you. We are one. Namaste.